quick update on the GTV V6. Not been working on it that much really in the last month or so because I've had other things to do. But anyway, what I did manage to achieve in the meantime was got all the brakes back together, cleaned up the discs, cleaned up the suspension parts, renewed some of the brake items, and put it all back together, bled it. Now the brakes work fine. So I'm fairly pleased with that. This weekend I have been on the near side door, which had a couple of problems. Firstly, the window operator, the window regulator, had sounded like a strip gear or something. It was making a god-awful racket, wouldn't drop down, wouldn't lift up again, and if I did try to drop it, it just made a growling noise and I had to push it down. Also, the central locking motor wasn't working. So I wanted to clear up both of these problems, and a while ago I bought some second-hand parts from eBay. The window regulator, this is the one out of the car, and this is the door lock mechanism out of the car. I've got the new items in. In actual fact, with the door lock mechanism, I just changed the motor over because my mechanism was in better condition than this one. It was cleaner and less corroded. And although the window regulator actually looks in quite good order, it's something, I think it's stripped inside. There's a gear stripped inside that motor. So in other regards it's fine, but it's got the issue with nylon gears stripping. So anyway, after a lot of messing about, I managed to remove the door card, which had a couple of issues with that. Someone's been in there before and damaged a couple of things. I've now effected some repairs to the door card, and one of the problems I had was just here, just there, like here, was a riv nut, and the riv nut on this side was spinning, and the screw that was in it was slightly bent and jammed. So I had to cut the head off the, using a drill. I drilled the head off the Allen screw that went in there, and then dremelled out the remains of the riv nut. Got in there with some panel beating tools and flattened up this panel again because it got a little bit bent. I've been trying to work, working on it as coarse and bending. The hole's round again, the panel's flat again, and I'm going to buy a new riv nut and an appropriate tool to fit that. I'm not going to buy one of these cheap plier type ones. There's a guy in the UK that makes some very effective tools that are made out of proper steel and spanners, and they'll come with like 10 riv nuts, M5s those are. Also bought some new screws, so in a couple of places where the screws were less than but they could be, I'll be fitting new ones, so I've got some nice stainless steel socket-headed cap screws to go in there. I've glued the two very small, minor damaged areas on the inside of the door card, which is a boss which goes through to that screw. It was broken off, and a clip that holds the speaker in place. There was a plastic lug and that was broken off. Anyway, so it's a plastic lug, it's just a bit of plastic with a hole in it, and you put a speed nut on. So I've glued that back into place, and that's currently gluing as I make this vid. In the meantime, I've managed to get the door lock threaded back in, and it's not an easy job, got to say. I was swearing at it. You don't do it when you're tired. I was tired, and I found it really hard work, but I got it in the end. And fitting the window regulator was easier than I thought it was going to be, but not at first, because I got the window regulator that I was putting in was in the up position, and it needs to be fully down, otherwise you can't fit it in. And I was struggling with it for about an hour, thinking, why can't I get these holes to line up? Why can't I get the bolts in? As soon as I powered it up, lowered the window regulator down so that it was pretty much at the bottom of its stroke, because I'd held the glass up in place with some duct tape, so I pulled the glass up and held it in place with duct tape while I fitted the regulator. Then partially moved the regulator up, partially moved the window glass down, coupled them up, and after a bit of adjusting, the drop down works and it all lines up fairly well. Also, the central locking motor, which is This bit here also worked as well. This one was stripped inside. I think it was making a noise, but it wasn't operating the locking mechanism. So there we are. Bit of a faff. It didn't cost me too much, including post. It was 60 quid for this and 40 quid for that, which I bought from 2 separate vendors on eBay. One was an offer. I made the guy an offer this. I said, if you let me have it for 60 quid including postage, Triumph going past there, 60 quid including postage, I will pay for it this second. And then I did, and then had to wait a little while to get it because he wasn't available to post it. But I didn't mind, you know, this is not an urgent job. So everything's working now on the GTV. I need to sort of clean the paint up and deal with the on the back here. I've got some lacquer peel because it's been standing outside and the sun has got to it. It was mostly undercover, but the sun got to that bit. So anyway, I'm fairly pleased with it. You know, there's a few more jobs to do, but now it's fully functional and it could be taken for an MOT. I think it may even pass, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do a few more bits to it when I've got some time. Anyway, if you're following this, thank you for your interest, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.